Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where we're taking a look at the Captain America Chris Evans trilogy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, when this movie came out, at this point in the sort of the development of the MCU, they hadn't had any, like, billion-dollar bangers yet.
No.
But I think the previous movies had done quite well critically and commercially, considering that the characters weren't as, you know, immediately recognizable as, like, a Spider-Man or a Batman or what have you. But I remember when this movie was announced, I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, Iron Man, that's pretty cool. Thor, you know, that's interesting. But
Iron
like,
Man 2, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Louis Letier's the Hulk, Incredible Hulk.
Oh,
pretty
very
cool.
cool.
Pretty cool.
Still in continuity, I guess. Pretty cool. But this is Captain America.
Yeah.
And this was...
How does this translate, like, around the world? Do people want to see this?
Because this was an era when not everybody liked America.
Not like now.
Not like now. Love America.
We love it.
Love it.
I've been there.
Love their regime.
I've got several of your flags. They're all wrong,
Okay.
but I got them.
That's terrific.
Oh, please leave a like on this video. We're back. It's 2025.
2025. New energy for 2025.
That's right.
And the thing was, like, how do you pitch Captain America? What's his vibe gonna be, you know? Because it's like, is he gonna be ultra patriotic? Does he represent the values of America? What do you do?
What even is that? It's different for every person, you know?
What do you do? What you do is you get Joe Johnston, the director of The Rocketeer.
Yep.
You get him in.
Yep.
You get Chris Evans. Mm-hmm. You do crazy Indiana Jones stuff. You do Rocketeer stuff. You do Joe Johnston's strength, which is like punching Nazis and weird World War II era crazy jet planes and stuff. You give us some great characters, you get a great cast. That's what you do.
Absolutely. I think what works for the character of Captain America in the MCU is that it's not traditional American values or whatever you want to call it. There's an earnestness and just the willingness to do the right thing.
Yes, and the kind of the signature line of Captain America in this is that he hates bullies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
We love them.
Yeah, we love him.
We love them here at caravanofgarbage.com.
That's right. We would have been that guy in the theater going, "Hey, get to the cartoon."
Bucky would have taken us out into the alley and given us a good kick in the ass.
That's right.
God, so much of the fighting in this is that 1940s. You swing a punch, you miss, and then the other guy punches you.
He just socks you right in the jaw.
Incredible.
Yeah, well, back then we would have been that guy just scrolling TikTok and yelling in the theater, you know?
That's right. What a wonderful movie, though. I think it's incredible. I think the simplicity of this is just done so well. The earnestness, it's just a straight kind of A to B narrative, but it's just firing on all cylinders.
And it wears its influences on its sleeves. Like, we get a bit of Rocketeer, we get some Indiana Jones. But I think just in a way that works. Also, it starts in the present day, which I think is good for a lot of people because they're like, God, I hope we're not stuck in the 40s this whole time. God damn. Look how brown and sad everything is.
Brown. You might be lucky if you see a white t-shirt.
Right?
Other than that.
Probably a beige t-shirt.
Probably a beige t-shirt.
Oh.
Now, of course, the main reason this works, probably the main reason, it's Chris Evans. And do you know why I thought he'd be a good Captain America, despite playing 6 other comic book characters before this? Do you know why I knew that, Mason?
Why's that, James?
It's because of the movie Sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
A few years prior, 2007, he just does this incredible performance in this movie that nobody's really seen. It's a Danny Boyle movie, for those who don't know about, reigniting the sun. It's got an amazing cast, and he's just spectacular in that movie, like everybody is. And so he brings like a gravitas to this, which I think most people might not have been aware of.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
Because Johnny Storm's kind of this like cocksure piece of shit kind of guy.
And so is his character in Scott Pilgrim.
That's right, yeah.
And so is
Cellular, when he was
course.
Jacob Cellular.
Exactly.
Not another teen man.
Not another teen movie, exactly. That's right, yeah.
He denied this role 3 times, much like St. Peter Mason.
Wow.
In that sense, yeah.
That's how you know he's legit.
So he was kind of worried about the fame that would come with this.
Oh, la-di-da.
I know. Well, you know, you become...
Thinking ahead of time, are you?
I mean, you become instantly recognizable when you do a role like this, which he'd also
I guess you're probably true for good or ill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Other Captain America, you know, those guys.
J.D. Salinger's
son, yes.
Son or whatever.
Grandson.
Yeah. Grandson. So it was Robert Downey Jr. that convinced him because it would open up options for other possibilities. Like Robert Downey Jr. did a movie where he was a juror, or he was defending a juror, or his dad murdered a man, and, you know.
Yeah.
You can do things like that.
You can do...
Due date.
You can do due date. You can do removing some bagpipes from the butthole of a dragon.
Your options are limitless.
Limitless.
Yeah. And also Joe Johnston sat down and spoke to him and, you know, kind of reassured him of what this movie would be.
I made The Rocketeer.
Yeah, man. I made Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Did he?
Probably. Also, the biggest special effect in this, Mason, if you don't mind me saying so, is actually the smallest.
It's the little man. It's
Yeah.
the little man face body replacement.
If this doesn't work, it's over.
That's
like
true,
it's. I think there's one shot I think doesn't. It's after Erskine drinks the alcohol in front of him when they're sitting down together. It cuts back to him and he looks like Angela Anaconda. Like his face is like
Okay, yeah.
not quite. That's maybe the only shot that doesn't really work. But even then, it's fine.
Oh, you're going to say Angela Lansbury. That would have worked for me.
That's fine. It's the era of that, I guess. But to make this happen, they considered like every option. Not all of them equally seriously, but it's like, do we do 2 actors? Do we do the castaway route where like he gets
He's on a volleyball?
Yeah, he's on a volleyball, yeah. Where he gets really thin and gets really big or vice
yeah,
versa, but that's too time consuming. So what they ended up doing, basically, for most shots, and not all of them, they do one with Chris Evans and he might be like lowered down a little bit.
Stooped or in a hole.
Yeah, or somebody standing on a box.
Or everybody else is raised up on a platform.
One with his double, whose name was Leander Deeney. One with a clean plate. So
Teeny Deeny.
Teeny Deeny. One with a clean plate. One on a green screen.
One with a clean plate, one a big plate of a steak and a milk.
That's right. I love a steak and a milk, Mason. What a meal combination. But it's different shot to shot. So sometimes they'll just take Chris Evans and just shrink him down.
Oh.
Yeah, just kind of like thin out his face and like bring his shoulders in and all of that. But sometimes it's face or head replacement.
That's what they do with us on these videos. Whenever you see a thing of us and you're like, they look kind of weird and scrawny and narrow.
No.
We've been smushed.
Yeah, we've smushed.
We've used the smush tool.
Yeah.
Because we want to relate to the common man.
We do, don't we? Yeah.
But actually, we're bullies.
But Leander Deeney, he also makes an appearance as himself. He plays a bartender after Bucky is rescued. He's also skinnied down, so he's not even as small as he appears in
interesting,
this.
okay.
He's got a great line in the behind the scenes where he goes, he needs to be a scrawny loser, and that's where I come in.
Damn.
I think that's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. But God, he's big. When he comes out, he's so big.
It's so big.
Kevin Feige has talked about how when he showed people this, they were like, how'd you make him big with CGI? And he's like, no, it's the opposite. Like, that's what he looks
Yeah.
like, and we shrunk him down.
We made him big with exercise.
That's right.
And only exercise.
Steak and milk and exercise.
That's exactly
Chicken
right.
and broccoli and rice.
I think it would be kind of funny if when he emerged from the Vita Ray chamber, he was hugely muscled but also blind because he's the only one they didn't give goggles to.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, we forgot. It's always next time.
Yeah. He's pretty big, though.
Yeah.
It's amazing that procedure just didn't explode him. Because they've obviously replicated this multiple times across the MCU to
Yeah.
varying degrees of success. Sometimes it works. You
Yeah.
get like a Bucky. Sometimes it doesn't work. You get a weird Hulk guy in She-Hulk or something.
Yeah, or a pile of slop.
Or a pile of slop. I'll give you a pile of slop, Mason. But the look of Captain America is also good. And it is very hard to get right, I feel, in live action.
You're talking the costume.
Yeah, and there's a few. So the stage costume is more your traditional Captain America, like the big boots and the winged helmet and,
And
all
that,
of
of course, gives him a chance to do the iconic Captain America punches Hitler
Exactly.
comic book cover. Also, I want to hear the story about the guy who dresses up as Hitler every day. You know what I mean? What's his deal?
He played Hitler in something else. I can't remember what it was, but he's known for it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he likes doing it, but he's just got some work doing it, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Then you've got the costume that he improvises when he rescues Bucky,
Yeah.
which is a good look as well. I like that, the leather jacket and the helmet and all of that. That's all really good. And it's got the traditional, his original shield.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got the final costume, which is a really good balance of kind of modern superhero costume blended with like a World War II kind of.
Yeah. So good they brought it back for a subsequent movie.
Which one?
You know, he steals it from the museum.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
the
true.
second one. We'll get to it. We'll
We'll
point it
get to
out.
it.
And we'll go, there it is.
That's
Bwah,
the
bwah,
thing
bwah,
we
bwah,
said.
bwah, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, a lot of people don't love this one, but the Avengers suit is like, that pajamas suit, I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah, I mean, and that one, of course, works better as with a lot of his suits, it works better with the helmet and the mask off,
Yes.
which is why he's mask off for most of that thing.
You want to see his beautiful wig. That's right, he's wearing a wig, everybody.
Wham, 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 wham.
Captain America is completely bald.
Wow.
Yeah, have you ever seen Chris Evans in any interviews? Completely bald. That's true.
Can we talk about the cast?
Yeah, can we talk about how he slept with Peter Quill's mum?
Oh,
Yeah.
good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I don't know how that works in terms of like the blood lineage of Peter Quill, but it's neither here nor there. She's in it, the actor.
Great.
Go on, cast.
Incredible cast. I loved it. Just a bunch of great stars and soon-to-be stars and great character actors.
We've got the Midas Touch.
We do have the Midas Touch. I mean, you know, to some degree, he is playing the same kindly scientist that sacrifices himself, but helps the hero gain great power, as the character from Iron Man.
Sure.
But that's how all the characters gained their powers.
You
back
need
in
a
that
foreign
era.
bloke.
Yeah, exactly.
To set you straight.
That's exactly
I
right.
need one of those.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
He's incredible Oriental wisdom. But of course we get Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull.
He's so good.
Great work.
Yeah.
Does a great sinister work.
Yeah, really incredible. And of course, he famously didn't come back, and I want to talk about why. But seeing the behind-the-scenes stuff of this, he is invested in it, and the look of that and the process. People think that he hated doing this, but that's not really the reason why he didn't come back. Again, we'll get into it. But that was 7 silicone pieces and like 3 hours of application to do that. And then beyond that,
Did they have to CGI his nose out?
They do. They CGI the nose out. They like darken around his eyes. They kind of thin it out a bit. They just kind of skullify it that little bit more. And being silicon means that the way the light bounces off it in a really interesting way. They don't try and do anything like clever with it in terms of reinvention. It's just a very good interpretation of, straight from the comics.
Absolutely. We get Tommy Lee Jones. Incredible work. It's a return to comic book movies from him. I assume he swore never to return after Batman Forever. I just love he's playing it perfectly as just that guy from that era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got feelings, but he's not going to show them. You know what I mean? There's the moment...
He can't.
Yes. I mean, spoilers at the end of the movie, of course, the plane goes down and Hayley Atwell, great in this, as Peggy Carter is, heartbroken that Steve is gone. And he's just there outside the room and he's like... And he's clearly heartbroken as well, but he's like, I'm not going to go comfort her. I don't know what I'd say. I'm just going to leave. And you'll never see me again.
No, we won't.
Yeah, Hayley Atwell, tremendous, great work.
This is the MCU relationship and love story that I care about. I know there's that Pepper Potts of like, oh no, they broke up. Oh, did they? Oh, they're back together. Good. Oh, he died. All right.
Yeah. And look, we'll discuss this over the course of these, and maybe if we get to the Avengers, eventually.
Yeah.
But again,
eventually.
I maintain that when Steve Rogers went back in time at the end of Endgame, he went back to this reality and he became the husband that Peggy Carter married.
That cannot be right, because in terms of how time travel works in the MCU, whenever you go back, you create a separate timeline. So he went back, married Peggy Carter from an alternate timeline, lived his life out there, and then skipped back over to the MCU to hand his shield back.
Okay, but consider this. They pushed a different button.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
The good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they added one.
The one that says real time travel.
Yes, exactly. Yes. That's right. Of course, we get Toby Jones.
That scene of him and Tommy Lee Jones sitting down together, I'm like, God, these are real actors.
Right?
Look at this. Look at this happen.
One of those guys is going to be in Detectorists.
That's right.
In a few years. Of course, we get that little nod to him being...
Zola, yeah.
The TV-faced man when we see him in the big magnifier.
It's in the video game Captain America Super Soldier as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
And of course, Dominic Cooper as Howard Stark.
Yes.
Tremendous delightful.
Yeah, and a few of these people obviously turn up in other MCU stuff, including the Agent Carter series, which is quite good.
Also, what I loved is we get the Howling Commandos, and they're just already fully formed characters. You know what I mean?
They don't get their mustaches and little hats and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You immediately go, yeah, those are some good guys.
Absolutely.
Of course, they're the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, Neil McDonough, bringing him in, that's a great choice, because if I was going to say, the whole thing feels very Band of Brothers, and he's in Band of Brothers.
So true.
So that's great stuff. And also, of course, we've got Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. And what I like about what they've done here is they don't do the kid's sidekick thing, which they initially did in the comics. They give him his darker backstory. Well, they hinted at where he kills the people for Captain America that... He does the shadiest stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, really good stuff. He's terrific. We'll probably talk about this in subsequent weeks, but I think there's totally room for him to take on the Captain America role. I know they kind of skipped over him and went to Sam Wilson, but this kind of ambiguous man who's maybe not great all of the time is an interesting choice to take it on like they did in the comics.
I mean, he could also, he's obviously upcoming in Thunderbolts, but in the comics, of course, he at one point takes the role of the man on the wall. He's a guy who lives in space.
Yes.
And defeats kind of cosmic level threats by shooting them.
That's right,
and
he
then
does.
shooting their families.
Absolutely.
And then destroying their entire civilization. So,
God, that's all good stuff. I want to talk about the Shield, though, if that's all right. You got a minute? You got a minute to talk about the Shield, our Lord and Savior, the Shield?
I've got 1 minute to talk about the Shield.
Right.
Wait, do you mean the Shield, the
TV series?
No, the Shield.
Michael Chiklis, yes.
Okay, but also, do you mean the Shield, the superhero character that preceded Captain America, who's basically Captain America?
No, I mean the Michael Chiklis one.
Okay, let's talk about Michael Chiklis.
I've never seen it. Is it any good? Is it worth looking
I like
into?
it. It's not as good as
cool.
The Wire,
Okay.
in my opinion.
That's under a minute. That's good work from us. Now I want to talk about Captain America's shield.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the introduction of it is he's like looking at other shields and Howard Stark's like, why would you want an indestructible shield that's basically magic? What do you want that for?
Right.
It can only do anything.
Why don't you get one of these bad shields? You can stick a gun through the hole or whatever. I don't know. That's good?
It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
You've never been on a battlefield, Howard Stark.
You don't
know that a soldier's going to need an indestructible shield that's magic. You think that a soldier needs a shield with a little hole through it to put your gun through. But guess what, Howard Stark? You can put your gun around.
Put your gun around the shield, Howard Stark.
Yeah.
It's good they don't explain it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
It's
He's just really good at throwing it, you know?
Yeah.
And even like you don't show how he learns to use it or whatever. He just can.
He doesn't get it at the end.
Yeah.
He knows how to use it because he uses that trash can when he's getting beaten up.
Exactly. He's already figured it out. He uses the car door at one point.
Yeah.
That's a moment from this movie, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We've got to name all the moments in the movie.
You gotta
in less
name
than
them.
the runtime of the movie.
You gotta name them.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's a few different variations on this. There's the metal one, like the one that you'd use in, just hero shots where, you need to see that it's metal. There's a rubber one for hitting people in the face.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of time, of course, it's CGI. So it's Chris Evans just like throwing nothing
Whoa.
and then pretending to catch it. They weren't really sure how this was going to work, if it would look good, like the way he would throw it. But that's all Chris Evans being like, no, I would do it like this. And that's why it looks the way it does. There's, of course, the shot where he throws it towards the camera, which just looks spectacular with the explosion behind him.
And it was worth the sacrifice of so many cameras and cameramen.
I completely agree. They're all dead and good because the MCU.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Yeah. Big plane at the end. There's a big plane.
Yes.
And the Red Skull's like, I'm worse than Nazis. I'm going to do big explosions everywhere all of the time. Because he's got Thor's magic golden cube.
And again, it's difficult to
It's blue. Sorry, go on.
It's difficult to, as well, pitch Hydra. Because they have to be worse than Nazis, but sort of palatable.
Yeah, you can't do the actual Nazi stuff in it, can you?
No, exactly,
Yeah.
right? So they have to be worse than Nazis because they've got, blue lasers, I guess.
Which is bad, but he was going to do big explosions.
He was going to do big explosions.
And
true.
that's not okay. This movie has one of my favorite things, and so does the next one. A guy goes into a propeller. I love that in the movie. Just the instant, like, just gone. Love it. The best. It should be in every movie. Should be the end of Love Actually. Emma Thompson kicks fucking Alan Rickman into one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, watching Captain America fight Red Skull in this, modern day Captain America would kill this guy in a second.
100%.
It wouldn't be a fight at all.
He's got more moves than dodge the punch, sock him in the jaw.
Yeah.
He'd Brazilian jiu-jitsu the guy into a chokehold, and he'd hear the Red Skull's heels squeak against the floor for a bit, and he'd just be out. You know what I mean?
Then he'd pull his head off.
He'd pull his head off.
God. But it is pretty cool how Red Skull picked up that cube and then he got shot into space and he became a Spectre. And then he lives on that planet where, like, you have to kill yourself for a rock. It's good.
Absolutely.
He's got 2 jobs in the MCU. It is a shame that the Red Skull lives as a ghost on another planet. I think he's a...
Because you thought he had some good ideas.
No, I think he's a good villain. I think he's a classic Marvel villain.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
he's wasted being a ghost out in the ether or whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, you could if they wanted to bring him back, they could clone him.
He
I
does.
guess.
He just comes back. Or there's
He just
another
come-
Red Skull.
He just comes back.
He
yeah,
just comes
exactly.
back.
They copied his brain engrams into a thing or whatever, and then they cloned the body, and now he's back.
Yep.
It's fine. It's easy.
It's easy.
It's easy because he's a villain, but in the MCU, it's also easy if you're a hero. Just clone
You're
him.
back.
They're back.
You're back, man.
The check cleared. They're back.
So it ends with him being frozen, of course, and he opens up in the modern day.
Okay, sure.
He reveals himself to be modern day.
Emotionally.
Yeah. Like, I understand the thinking behind, like, they want to ease him into it being 2011 or 2012 or whenever this movie is set. I don't really know what they were thinking in doing that.
What were they going to do after that room?
Yeah.
Hey, can I go out and get breakfast? No, we'll bring you breakfast. Do not leave this room. We'll get you a 1940s breakfast.
That's right. Steak and a milk.
Steak and a milk. If you're wondering what's available for lunch, it's a steak and a
It's
milk.
a steak and a milk and a punch, and you dodge that punch, and then you punch that person.
Oh, I guess I am still in the 40s.
And a black coffee.
Yeah.
What do you think happened with his hair in his cryostasis? Do you think his hair was frozen, or did you think they gave him a haircut when he came out of it?
You've put me on the spot here. I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
I think he went completely bald in the ice.
Okay.
And then that's grown back.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the time it took for him to wake up.
Exactly, yes.
Do you think he's got like Wolverine's hair healing properties? Remember when his hair all burnt off, then it came back immediately?
Actually, I've changed my mind. He went bald in the ice, and then they put a wig on him. So he's gonna figure that out. He runs out into modern day Times Square and he's like, "What's going on? I'm going crazy!" And then his hair comes off as well. And he's like, "Ah, oh no!"
I told you had a wig, Mason. Oh, it's really sad as well. It's just that moment of like, I had a date. It's just sad, man.
It is sad, yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
He has to kiss her grand niece or something. It's weird. I don't like that. We'll talk about it next week, but I don't like that at all.
He doesn't have to kiss her grand
He had to. I think he felt the obligation because he's trying to do the right thing.
Sure.
But that's not the right thing. That's the wrong thing.
Oh.
Might have been the right thing in the 40s.
Also, she was a spy or something.
She was a spy.
Is she the power broker?
Yeah,
Did I
maybe.
remember that?
Or she became the power broker.
Good for her.
For doing the Winter Soldier or
Good for
whatever.
her, girl bossing.
I
Good on her.
agree. But of course, the post credits to this movie is an Avengers trailer. And just watching that again, I'm like, God.
So when did they film these then? The trailer had most of that movie.
Yeah,
in it.
well, Avengers was filmed in 2011. This came out in 2011. They would have had enough footage at that point to
Ready
put
to
it
go.
together. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So don't worry about it if you're worried about it.
I was quite
And it all
worried about
worked out.
Did it? Are you sure? I'll have to watch the next one to make sure, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to mention also, I could have climbed that flagpole. And I'll do it. You want me to put it in the
They
video?
probably put like 1940s grease
You
on
can
it
put grease
already.
on a flagpole. I'll do it.
You're going to climb a greased flagpole.
Well, I can't
Where are you
find.
going to even find a flagpole?
I can't find. I'll climb a football post, Mason.
Okay, all right.
You want me to do it?
Yes. We're back in your stunt era, are we?
Bearing in mind, I could fall.
Okay.
I could die.
You want to drag a mattress out there?
No.
Okay. You want to drag that day's newspaper out there
Yes.
to prove you hadn't done this years ago? Set this up.
Oh man.
We're recording, James. Can you do it?
Now that we're here, I don't feel good about this. The pole is wider than I anticipated. A real flagpole is narrower. We should bear that in mind. This is a fucking terrible idea.
I believe in you,
The
James.
sun's in my eyes.
That's not an issue. You nearly did it. From my perspective, you almost got to the top. And you got the proverbial flag and a kiss from Peggy Carter. As far as I'm concerned. Not literally
I
though.
really thought this would go better.
Why? No, just kidding, you're alright. Oh, getting there, yep, good.
How
Great.
close was I?
So close, man.
Thanks, everyone. It's time for why Hugo Weaving didn't return as the Red Skull.
Oh, interesting.
This famous segment we do every week.
Okay.
He spoke to Time Out. And he said, I love playing the character Red
The
Skull.
candy bar.
Yes.
Interesting.
I spoke into one. He said, it was a lot of fun. We're obligated to sign up for 3 pitches. I was thinking Red Skull probably wouldn't come back in Captain America, but he may come back as a villain in the Avengers. But by then, they'd pushed back all of our contracts that we agreed on, and so the money offered to me for the Avengers was much less I got for the first one, and this was for 2 films. So he's talking about Infinity War and Endgame.
Okay.
And the promise when we first signed the contracts was that the money would grow each time.
Marvel getting a little bit stingy there.
Yeah, and he said also it was a voice job. It's not a big deal. I actually found negotiating with them through my agent impossible, and I didn't want to do it that much, but I would have done it. So Ross,
you didn't do it.
Didn't. Well, Ross Marquand now voices the Red Skull, who I think did a good job.
Yeah.
But it is a shame that he could have got Hugo Weaving. He voiced Megatron. He's not above
That's right.
voice working nonsense movies for
So
babies.
true. That's right.
No, for men. For men who can climb flagpoles. Yeah. All right, now it's time for Captain Trivia, the first trivia.
I love that.
Distractify have an article where they said there were planned cameos for both Magneto and Wolverine. I think that's bullshit. I mean, how would you even fit that in? What? He visits a concentration camp and sees little kid Magneto. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
I just don't think this is true. And they knew they didn't own the rights to all this shit. Like,
Well, that's true, isn't it? Yeah, well, you know what? I wouldn't put it past them going in the first kind of blue sky, concept meeting where they went, oh, those 2 are characters who have some roots in World War II. Maybe we could put them in.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, somebody gets off the phone and goes, yeah, we don't own them currently.
yeah,
So,
currently,
yeah,
for now.
that's right.
Captain America co-creator Joe Simon was approached to make a cameo appearance in the film, but declined because travel was difficult at his advanced age. He was able to see a private screening of the film in New York before its release, and he died 5 months after, at age 98.
Do you think it's connected?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Marvel, you got blood on your hands.
No. He was like, now I can die. I feel good.
Okay,
I
great.
would have lived forever.
Oh, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. But I've seen everything I want to say.
Wow.
Captain America bald.
That's right. Oh, speaking of the cameos, of course we get Nick Fury at the end.
Yeah. We
Since-
get Clara from Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've never gotten any confirmation whether that's the same Nick Fury that was in World War II. Or do you think that's maybe
Oh,
do you think he's the son of the original? You think there's only
I
one? What's
mean-
the continuity there?
Looking at like what they did with Captain Marvel and
Yeah, right,
and I guess that show he was in, whatever that was,
Right.
I don't think it is. I
Yeah.
think he's just the age that he is.
Okay, well, in my headcanon, his dad is David Hasselhoff.
Yep.
The original and real Nick Fury.
Completely agree. There's also a cameo in this from the original Human Torch at the World's Fair or whatever.
That's right,
That
yeah.
Electronic Man and etc.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
What does it mean? Nothing.
That's correct.
So here's some other names that were considered for the role of Captain America.
Okay.
Stop me if you've heard of any of these.
Okay.
Sam Worthington.
No.
Ethan Peck.
No.
Garrett Hedlund.
No.
Scott Porter.
Yes.
Ryan Felipe.
No.
Sebastian Stan.
Yes.
Now, the rest of these people had MCU roles or MCU adjacent. So John Krasinski,
Oh, yes.
he's talked about it and how he put on the costume. He was like feeling pretty good. And then Chris Hemsworth walked past and he was like, this is stupid. I can't do this. I'm a coward. You are Krasinski. Why don't you make some more good news with that show that you sold for like $10 million or whatever?
Maybe you could.
Maybe he could.
Maybe that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Also, Jim from The Office is canonical to the MCU.
Is he?
I'm assuming he is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guy sucks. Channing Tatum, who of course has played Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Michael Murray is in Agent Carter and was considered.
that's right.
Jensen Ackles, not MCU, but he plays Soldier Boy.
That's true.
And Wilson Benthal plays Bullseye in Netflix Daredevil. And Wyatt Russell, it was his first ever audition.
Huh.
Who of course ended up playing
U.S. agent.
U.S. Agent.
Well, he was
Give
Captain
the
America for a
nod.
second.
He was for a little moment. And here's a fun story about Dane Cook, because I know you're always asking me about Dane Cook. You're like, when can we include Dane Cook in these videos?
Is Good Luck Chuck canonical to the MCU? Is that his secret superpower?
Where he roots a woman and then that woman marries another guy.
Yeah, is it related to the Tesseract somehow?
Yep.
Has he been imbued with Tesseract power? Gives him magical rooting abilities.
Yes.
Wow.
But there's something else going on here. So he auditioned and then told everybody. He said in a tweet in 2010, I'm minus 7% body fat now. Bones replaced W/lightweight scandalum alloy. Had to get shredded for Captain America audition and stand-up tour. And Marvel_freshman responded, are you really auditioning for Captain America? And Dane Cook said, I did already. They might be going young. I say go RD Jr. route. Give me the part.
Oh,
And then he came out via Deadline in 2011 and said, oh, I got in so much trouble. I was feeling really excited, but it was supposed to be a quiet, private thing. I wrote an apology letter to the casting director because they were upset. I mean, you were never going to get it. Don't worry about it.
you apologize to Sarah Halley Finn.
Yeah.
She never misses.
Never misses. Also, I want to talk about the pay scaling for this.
Okay.
In regards to Chris Evans.
First movie, $700,000? Is that correct?
$300,000.
Whoa, embarrassing for him.
Yeah, but he knew some bigger stuff was coming.
Yeah,
or
that's
he
right.
rolled the dice on it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, the Avengers was a lock. So
Yeah,
even
right.
if this bombed, he would have been okay for that. But yeah, let's watch that steadily increase.
Good for him.
Over the coming weeks. And speaking of, if you do want to see those videos early, guess what?
What?
You can actually head over to bigsandwich.co, where we do bonus video game Let's Plays. We do movie commentaries.
So true.
We do extra podcasts.
That's right.
And people might know this. I might have already said it. These videos go up there early.
That's
if you do want
right.
to check them out. It's all ad-free. It's $9 a month. It helps keep these ad-free, sponsorship-free. If you do want to help support us, or you can just watch these. That's great
Just
too.
watch these videos.
Subscribe and give a like, etc.
That's right, all the stuff.
Yeah.
You guys know the drill.
You know the drill. Also, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. That comes out every Monday. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. It's got its own YouTube channel. We're, of course, going to be talking about Captain America, Now He's a Bird.
And we've covered every Marvel movie that's ever been made.
It's true, probably.
Even that Nick Fury. Well, that's on.
We
That's-
did that.
that's
It's
on
a Caravan of Garbage. Yeah.
People should check that out too.
Check
I
it
reckon.
out.
Check it out.
Thank you so much to Ben and Maddie for the edit.
Thank you, Ben and Maddie.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Grab that jammy, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.